Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel Saurav Sarkar. In today's video, this will be the second part of the count sort algorithm. Okay. In the previous video, if I show you, we learned about this count sort algorithm and I showed you how to actually learn the algorithm step by step, and I also showed you how the time complexity works and etc etc. Okay, in this video we'll be learning how to actually write the code, and for this we'll be using the Java programming language. Okay, so before starting this video, I would like to request all of you to please like and share all our videos with your friends and family, and at the same time, please don't forget to hit the bell icon and subscribe to our channel if you really like the videos. Okay, and thank you for supporting us. I hope you will be supporting us a lot in future as well. Okay, so without any more ado, let's get started. Okay, and I will be using this sample example that we took in the last example. Okay, fine. So let's get started. Okay. Now, if you remember, let's create the function. So I will create a static function because I don't want to create any objects. Okay. So static void, say count sort. And what do you need from the user? We need the array, right? I'll just take the array. And then what was the first step? If you remember, the first step was to calculate the max, right? So I'll just say find the max. Fine. And guys, please write comments because it will really help you to remember your code. Okay, because the next day if you come back, you won't be remembering everything. So if you write comments, proper comments, it will be really helpful to understand the code when you come back and again review your code. Okay, so let me just think that k is the max value and initially it is actually the first element of the array. Okay, just for example, then what I will do, I will just say I will start from the first element. Okay, that means index number 1, because I don't need to compare the 0th element with the 0th element again. Okay, so I'll just say for int I equal to 1, I less than arr dot length I plus plus. I will just use k equal to, we have the math class, inside that we have a max function. Okay, it takes two parameters, one for the comparison and one for the comparator. Okay, so I will just take k and I will compare it with all the elements of the array. Fine. So gradually after this loop is over, if any element in the array is greater than the first element, then it will replace it and store it there in k. Fine. Okay, so we got the max now. Now, if you remember the second step, we have to create the count array. Okay, so let's create the count array. And if you remember properly, the size of the count array will be from 0 to k. That means 0 and k included. That means k plus 1. Because we have to go from 0 till k. That is k plus 1 including 0. Okay, so I'll just say int count is equal to new int of k plus 1. Makes sense? Because we have to accommodate 0 till the k value, which is the max value. Point. Guys, if you have not watched this video, I will give the link in the description so that you can go ahead, understand this, then you can come back and follow us in this video. Okay, otherwise it will be difficult for you to understand. I am guessing that you have already watched this video and you are coming back and watching this. Okay, please go ahead, watch this. I will give the link in the description as well. Fine. So now, as I said, we have created the count array. Now we simply need to take the count of all the elements in the array. Fine. So simple. I will just use the for loop. And let me write a comment as well. I will just say count each element in the input array. Fine. So for int I equal to 0, I less than arr dot length, I plus plus, we can count it like this. See guys, we'll go to count. What are you counting? We're counting the array element. Okay, array of I, and finding the array element in the input array and going to that particular index in the count array and just saying plus plus. Fine, is that clear? We find the array element, suppose it is 4, we go to 4th index in the count array and just say plus plus, increment it by 1, okay? And because it is going from 0 to the length of the array, it will automatically count each element, number of ones, number of twos and so on, fine? Okay, after that, we have already calculated the count. Now we need to calculate the cumulative count, fine? So if you remember carefully, for the first element, we don't bother about which element is before that, okay? And as I gave you an example, the first person sitting in a bench will not bother about who is before him or her, because there is nobody, right? So the first element will come as it is. I will have to start from index 1, okay? And I will have to go till the max value. Please remember that. If you remember from the earlier video, you will understand that properly. So what I will do, I will just say calculate the cumulative count. Okay, so for I equal to 1, I less than equal to k, the max value, okay, I plus plus. We remember that the current value is equal to the current plus previous value. So you can just write it down like this, current equal to current plus previous. So it will be count of I is plus equal to count of I minus 1. Fine, got it? The current value is equal to the previous value and the current value added together. Okay, so now we got the cumulative count. After that, if you remember from the algo, we always start from the right hand side of the array. Okay, that means the end of the array, because we start to add up from this side, we have to find the output from the end of the array. Okay, clear? Now how do you write it? We just say start from the end of the array. Okay, then after that, let me just drag it down a little bit so that you can see the code. Fine. Then what is the next step? The next step is find the element. Then if you remember, we go to the count array. Then the next step, we decrement the count. Okay, sorry for the spelling. We decrement the count and then we store the element in the output array at that particular index, right? So you can precisely say that decrement the count by 1. Is that okay? Now let's first create the output array. Okay, so int output is equal to new int of, the size will be same as the length of the input array, correct? After that, what will you do? As I said, start from the end of the array. So let's take the for loop for int I equal to arr.length. This is the total length, but it should be -1. We should start from that because we are starting from 0, right? Correct? So the length should be, if we start from the end, it should be n-1 or length -1. Correct? I greater than equal to 0. We have to go till the 0th index point. So this will be I minus minus because we were decrementing, coming back to 0, right? Then what do? You actually are relating the output to the input, right? Correct? We are doing this. So just think of this like a story. First we go to the array, we find the element. Okay, then where are you going? You are going to the count array. Correct? And you are trying to find that count of the array element. Correct? We are trying to find the count of this array element. So it will be ARR of I. Okay? And before storing, if you see here, decrement the count by 1, then what do you say? Let me write down that part also. Store the element in that index in the output array. Point. Okay. Now, as I said, we find the input array in the count array. We get the count there, the cumulative count. Then before storing it, you can see we are decrementing the count by 1, right? So what do? You just say minus minus. Before storing it in the output array, we decrement the count. Is that okay? At that particular index, we have to store it. Fine. Now, because we are modifying the same array, what is the last step? We have one step left. What do? We just say assign the output back to the input array. Okay, so for that, how will you write it? For, or we can just do one thing. We are just copying the output back to the input, right? Guys, I will show you a very important trick. So you can use the function called array copy, which is there in the system class. So system dot array copy. So it takes 4 parameters. The first one is the source, which is our output array. Okay. Then it takes the index, the position. So from the 0th index I want to copy. Okay. Then now it takes the destination, which is our array only. Fine. Then it takes the index. Where do you want to store it here? The index is 0 only. And finally it takes one more. I was wrong. It doesn't take 4, it takes 5 parameters or 5 arguments. The last one is the length of the array. Okay. So here you can write arr dot length, because here you can write output dot length also, doesn't matter, because the output dot length and the arr dot length is absolutely same, no problem at all, right? Now then we have assigned the output back to the input, so our code is complete. Okay, so I hope you have understood this code. Now let's do one thing. Let's verify whether this code is working or not, right? Only writing will not be enough, right? We have to verify whether this is working. So what do? I go to the main function. Now let's take the same example that we had here, okay? This one. So it is 23651241. Fine. I'll just say int arr 2365. Let me check again. 12431. Fine. This was the example that we had. Fine. Now let us print it before calling the function and after calling the function, and let's verify whether it is working or not. Okay. So I will just say sout before and simply I can use the print statement. Inside that we have a very important feature. We can convert this array into a string and directly print it in one line. We don't have to use any for loop also. So I'll just say arrays. We have the special class called arrays in the java.util package. Arrays.toString and pass the array. Okay. And now let us call the count sort function and pass our array. Okay. And let me just copy the same thing from here if I can. Okay, 1 second. Okay, and paste it here and let me write after. Okay, so before sorting we are printing the array, and after calling this function we are again printing the array. Okay, and guys, please remember, as I said, I have written static here. See, if I remove this, what will happen? Now I won't be able to call this. See, we need an object now, so better use static if you don't want to create any object. Now let's run this and verify if this is working or not. Okay, running this. Yes guys, you can see here, before it was 23651241. After sorting you can see 11223345 6. So it's absolutely sorted. Is that clear, guys? Remember one thing, whenever you are writing any code, please relate it to the code. Write a story, then try to convert that into a code. It will be really easy. So I hope you have understood and liked this video. So if it is good, if you have liked this video, then please give this video a thumbs up. And thank you for watching. If you really liked it, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you.